Thank you so much for being here in day 138 of the income stream. Today, we're going to be talking about promotion and the exposure for getting people onto your email list. Yesterday, we spoke about different kinds of lead magnets that you can use to grow your email list, but you're not going to grow your email list unless people see those lead magnets. So where might we put them? How might we find more people to go into our email list from there? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Thank you so much for being here. Got a lot of fun announcements here at the beginning, but real quick, let's play the intro. Say hello to your friends here in the chat if you're here with me live. Hashtag Team Replay in the comment section if you're watching the replay. Welcome in. Happy Tuesday.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
What's up, y'all? Welcome in. Thank you, and a big welcome to all the brand new Team Flynn members here, the Gold and Platinum members. If you're in the chat, you see people with a green rename, that means they are a member, paying a small tiny amount per month to get access to certain things like emojis and member-only community posts and early access to videos and those kinds of things. Totally not required. The super chat's not required. You can watch this completely for free, and my goal is to be here to help you. All the money that comes in, however, through the memberships and all the super chats do get donated at the end of the month. This month we are donating to polarisproject.org, which is helping those who are suffering from or who have suffered from human trafficking, and to put a stop to that, that is not okay. So polarisproject.org, just want to bring some awareness to that organization this month. And big welcome, thank you. And every day this week, because we are unlocking a lot of new members, which is pretty cool, we are also, as a result, unlocking the ability to add more emojis. So for the members, who you'll see them with some special emojis as we go along, there'll be a new emoji coming out every single day until we get to our limit, whatever that limit might be. I don't know, but currently we have 5 additional spots. I added a new one last night, which you'll see is the question mark one. So if you have a question and you're a member, you can use that and I can more easily find your question. And that's thanks to Karma, who requested that emoji. And we've had some crowdsourced ideas from the members already. So again, not required, but thank you so much for being here today. We are talking about email lists and growing your email lists. And it's really important to understand that there's sort of 2 components to this, right? We need to, number one, entice people. When they find us, we need to actually help them understand that there's value there on the other end of our email. People don't wake up in the morning and go, hey, yeah, I cannot wait for more emails coming in today. People don't want the emails. This is really important to know. People want what's on the other end of those emails, or the results of subscribing to your email list, or the incentive that we include. And if you haven't yet seen yesterday's live stream / recorded video, Chris, welcome to Team Platinum.
Bruh.
Appreciate you for that. Then I would recommend you go and watch that, because we talk about, I think, 9 or 10 different lead magnet ideas. And for those of you who were there yesterday, hopefully it was helpful for you. Let us know in the chat. Give me some proof that that is worth checking out. The second part to this, however, is we need people to find out that these things exist. How do we get people to come across our lead magnets? We can have the best lead magnets in the world, but unless people find them, then it's kind of all for nothing. So we need to work a little bit harder to understand, okay, where do we place these lead magnets? And is it just on our website, and is that going to do the job? Maybe, maybe not. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So who here, chat, let me know with your favorite emoji, who here is ready to learn about how to promote and market your lead magnets so that we can get more emails. Yes, so as we are waiting for a few more people to come in, I am going to sip a cup of coffee real quick. Where is this coffee mug from? Dagobah from Star Wars. Thank you, Starbucks. So ready, awesome, fantastic. Welcome again. Yes, catch you live again, Pat, Maurice. Actually, let's say hello to a few people here. Thank you again so much for joining. Chris in the house. What's up, Chris? Great to see you here. Grandma Goody says, so ready. Yes, day 137 was excellent, says GTO. Thank you so much. Ready to learn, says Elaine. Thank you. Ready, says Amy. Ready to learn. Fantastic. Share. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so thankful you're helping me with how to promote right now and build that email list. I'm working on super landing pages that work. Yes, landing pages being pages that we create sort of separate from our website. The reason why, and I guess this is a great first lesson here, so thank you, Cher. A great way to promote a lead magnet is to not just have it on your website. Have a landing page. This isn't what I was going to talk about, but a landing page specifically should have, ideally, a few certain components. And again, thank you for that super chat, Cher. So a ideal or the best practice for a landing page is it essentially has no other action on that page. No buttons, no navigation menu, no nothing other than information and copy and images to help support and sell essentially the subscription or to get that lead magnet or just exit. Literally, that's the only thing. When you start creating landing pages that are also amongst so many other decisions that people can make, it's just confusing. This is otherwise known as a squeeze page sometimes, although I don't like that term. Let me know in the chat if you've heard that term before and you're not quite sure what that means. A squeeze page essentially is a page that does the same thing. It's synonymous with it because it squeezes people to do one thing and one thing only, or two things, sign up or leave. And I don't like that term because I don't want to imagine like squeezing my audience, or, we often imagine squeezing every dollar like a sponge and just kind of trying to get every dollar out of somebody. That's not the analogy that I like. I like the idea of serving first, right? And helping people and having them want to support us and helping them get into an email list first to be able to support them, to provide value, to then open up the idea of, hey, here's a way that you can pay back, or a program that you can join, or a solution that you can invest in, and then everybody wins in the end. I love marketing where everybody wins in the end. Dole Whip Dad, welcome to Team Platinum.
Bruh.
Appreciate you. Check out your new bruh emoji that came with that. Smart Trucking, yep, I've heard of that, and I don't like them either. Awesome. Smart Trucking in the house, by the way. Check him out. A verified user here, which is quite rare, which I love. Good to meet you. Thanks for being here. So, yes, a landing page, it should not have navigation. It should have a headline to capture people's attention. It could have a video on it to further explain why a person should sign up and subscribe. And obviously an opt-in form with name and email. Some people use just just email only. I like collecting the name, however, because I like to personalize a little bit of that interaction. Plus, if ever I reach out to people, especially when it comes to a conversation or communication or a survey, I can better understand who that person is and use their name in that communication on a one-to-one level if I choose to do that with my email. So that's a landing page. Those are sort of basic rules of a landing page. But let's talk right now about, okay, you have this lead magnet, this thing that you've created that is maybe a checklist, or maybe access to a video, or maybe it's specifically a quick start guide to something, or a resource list, or signing them up for something. Whatever the case may be, we need to put it somewhere. So I'm going to break this down into two different sections for you. We're going to go number one first with passive strategies. This is kind of the way I teach you in my email marketing course. We have passive strategies and we have active strategies. Passive strategies are things that you can sort of set up once and they kind of continue to work for you again and again and again, right? And that's important to set up, and we'll talk about that. Then we're going to talk about active strategies, things that take a little bit more work and almost feel like a campaign sometimes, and they can be evergreen too, but they have to kind of be converted to that. And although they take a little bit more work, they do garner more results, right? They do garner more results. Very cool. Sorry, I'm trying to unzip. You know how like sweatpants sometimes have zippers at the end? These Adidas ones, and I'm like trying to, there we go. They were just hurting my ankles. The zipper was. Okay, so let's talk about passive strategies. I'm going to talk about a simple one first that's quite easy but often overlooked. And this is at the end of your blog posts, the end of your podcast episode, the end of your YouTube videos. The reason why I'm really focusing on the end of these things, because of course you can promote these things in the middle of the content as well. And if of course you're talking about something related to your lead magnet, let's say your lead magnet is about Facebook advertising and it's essentially a checklist on what to do when you start Facebook advertising. If you have a podcast episode or a blog post or a YouTube video about that, well then mention it in the middle. You can even mention it in the beginning as a fun and easy way to sort of follow along with the content. Don't save it till the end in that case. But many times our lead magnets don't necessarily 100% relate to the topic of that specific content, right? when it does that, that's called a content upgrade, and that actually is really, really good, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but that's a little bit more of an active strategy that we'll get into. Actually, I'll add that here as well, because a content upgrade, which means a lead magnet that's built specifically for a very specific piece of content, it just becomes a very, very natural thing for people to do, is to subscribe, because they need that resource, worksheet, tool, whatever, about the thing that they just read. But oftentimes we have a lead magnet which does not necessarily relate to the content that we're creating, but it's still worth promoting. But promoting it at the end of your blog post, at the end of your YouTube video, the end of your podcast episodes is really key, because you've spent that time up front building that relationship first. I'm not a huge fan of the 30 seconds within somebody visiting your website, you're already asking them to subscribe to something that they may or may not have needed or have gotten into. It's almost like asking somebody to marry them before you've gone on some dates. And we want to go on some dates first. We want to provide some value. We want to open the door, let them in, treat them well, buy them dinner, all this great stuff. Not actually online, but you know what I'm saying with the analogy. Too often we come to web pages on our weekend website reviews, and immediately we're hit with a pop-up, and that's not really a great experience. The hard thing about this is you will get subscribers when you have a pop-up in somebody's face immediately, sometimes. But is that the kind of subscriber you want? I would much rather have somebody dive into my content, get some free and relevant value, and then go, whoa, I love this, and there's now this free thing I can get into and get access to. Welcome to Team Gold, Rex. Appreciate you.
Bruh.
You're amazing. Marie says, oh, on topic, so no pop-ups. I didn't say no pop-ups ever. I just don't recommend having a pop-up show up immediately upon first visit within the first 10 to 30 seconds of a person's visit, right? Because that's people come there and they might have come with this expectation to read this piece of content, or they've heard about you from somebody else, and now you are interrupting why they're there. Hopefully the website does a good job of navigating them, or they're on a page that they're already wanting to read or see or listen to or watch. But a pop-up in the beginning is I think that although you will build an email list doing that, I think saving it for at the end of things, or even a pop-up that comes up after you scroll down a certain percentage of the page, or a pop-up that shows up perhaps after a minute or two on the page, those are people who have now spent some time and who got to know you a little bit better. And a pop-up right up front. I mean, chat, let me know. Let's crowdsource this a little bit. Chat, if you agree that you shouldn't have a pop-up, or the experience is poor if you visit a website and you see a pop-up within the first 30 seconds, that's not a great experience. Let me know in the chat if you're live with me right now, and the people who are watching the replay, you'll be able to see all the comments here one way or another. I think an exit intent pop-up is another form of pop-up that's really interesting. This is upon people wanting to leave the website. And in that case, I think it's often okay, especially if it's sort of a last-ditch effort, because people are on their way out anyway. And if you can interrupt them right before they're about to leave, they're already in that leaving mindset, and you get to switch their brain from, oh, okay, well, should I leave right now? You can offer a lead magnet or something to capture their attention and perhaps bring them back. You might as well, because they're about to leave anyway, right? So boo pop-up. Hey, Archer, welcome to Team Flynn Platinum, my friend. I appreciate you. So I don't mind side pop-up after 30 seconds or so. I don't care for pop-ups, rude, etc. Now, this full screen takeover pop-ups are one thing. Now, a lot of marketers and programs are getting a little bit smarter with what's called a toaster. It's like this thing that goes, hey, would you like to subscribe? Or does this thing make sense for you to subscribe to? And it just comes across the side, or it sort of slides in from the side, a little bit more gentle. And the real answer for all this is test, right? But again, just because you're building an email list with a pop-up doesn't mean that's the right kind of email that you want. I love the people who join my list who are fired up and ready and know exactly what I have to offer them, and will be more likely to open the next email. A lot of times if you collect emails from a pop-up right in the beginning of that situation, it's because they want the thing, which is, of course, great. They're getting into that email list because they want that lead magnet. But they don't know who you are, what you're about, what you have to offer. You have to work a little bit harder in that email follow-up sequence to build that relationship. So that's why I choose the end of, right? Don't actually have noises when your pop-ups show up, by the way. But this is why I like at the end of the post, after you've delivered value, there's different kinds of ways to do this. I would have a featured section of your website that does this. I would imagine, I'm trying to look at, one of my favorite people in the world is Brian Dean. If you aren't following Brian Dean, I highly recommend you do so. He has, you can see here, his MO, his primary motive here is to collect an email address. And he does this right up front in his homepage. But it's not a pop-up, it's just, exclusive SEO tips that I only share with email subscribers. I mean, that's pretty clear. And Backlinko, Brian Dean, has some of the best information. A lot of people are finding him on YouTube, in fact. And you'll see if we scroll down, there's like testimonials and stuff. He has some really amazing content. I want to see what he does in his blogs. So introducing the SEO Marketing Hub. Jay, welcome to Team Gold.
Bruh.
Appreciate you. Okay, let's see. I'm going to scroll down. Oh, so this is promoting some new hub that he created. That's pretty cool, a resource. Let's see, how to rank on page 1 of Google, fast study. Exclusive content, that's pretty interesting. It's locked. Wow, that's new. That's actually new within like a week. Some of this content is locked now. Unlocked now. Do I have to join the hub? Yes. Ooh, that's interesting. I wouldn't recommend that if you're just starting out, but this is something that is new. Let's see how he collects email addresses within these posts. So he's known for creating these really in-depth studies about search engine optimization. As you can see, a lot of graphics, a lot of information here. And this is just essentially a giant guide about Ahrefs. And if I were to type in Ahrefs, Ahrefs, this is a tool. Into Google, you might find Brian Dean stuff fourth down here, which is pretty cool. Actually, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, he's built a resource about a specific tool, which is really interesting. Okay, I couldn't find what I remember his website. I just noticed that it was changed from before. But at the end of your blog post would be a great place to do this. And having a featured section, a box, not just like a little ask at the end of your blog that's sort of within the same style as the rest of the post. You want it to stand out. You want it to be featured. And I would have this before the comment section, right? So you have your post, and then you have a featured area where you are promoting your lead magnet. And like I said yesterday, you also can share visuals related to the lead magnet. It doesn't necessarily just have to be text only, and in fact, it shouldn't be, because people like to see what they're going to get before they get it. And even if it's a digital product, having some sort of visual representation of that becomes a lot more attractive. And again, it also is a way for you to capture a person's eye when they're scrolling down. Oh, here's a section. I've even seen ones where featured sections are, a checklist sort of like hangs off the little vertical section where they're showing where you can subscribe. And it's just, again, different kinds of ways to capture people's attention there. Another strategy, passive strategy, you set up once, they're ready to go, is to put opt-in forms on your About page. This is probably the most underutilized strategy that I've seen when it comes to passive strategies. When people are on your About page, they're wanting to learn more about what you can do for them and more about you and your qualifications. So after you qualify yourself, after you qualify the website on this About page, it makes complete sense to put an opt-in form right there on your About page, even a couple times if your About page is quite long. I have a YouTube video here that I'd love to just point to your direction if you need help with crafting the perfect About page. Let me put this over to your way. I'm gonna type About page and just see if my video pops up. Yep, number 2, how to write the perfect About page for social media. And this is a video. Let's see what the hook is.
To make sure that you include on your About page.
Let's see the
If
hook.
you're creating any content online, doesn't matter if it's on a blog or a podcast or a video channel, or maybe even on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, you need to focus on having a great About or bio section. It's really important you nail this down, because a lot of people go to that to understand whether or not they should continue to follow and consume your content. So we're gonna work in this video through 5 different factors to make sure that you include on your About page exactly what it needs to get people to follow and subscribe to you. And if you haven't done this yet, it's about time. It's about page time.
That was dumb. What a fun dad joke there. It's about time. It's about page time. That's so bad. Okay, so the opt-in form. I talk about the opt-in form at the 7:51 mark here on YouTube. Natural Living, Zenana. Thank you so much for joining Team Flynn. Appreciate you. Go ahead and have fun with those emojis. So you need an opt-in form on your About page. Again, this is the page that we use to prove ourselves. People wouldn't go there if they weren't somewhat interested. And now we close the deal, essentially. Say, yeah, this is for you. This is, I'm somebody who really cares and would love to serve you. Here are some articles that you can check out. I would include that on your About page too, because you don't want it to be a dead end. But an opt-in form, if not multiple opt-in forms on your About page, works well. Somebody who I know does this is Derek Halpern, and I have to give him credit because Derek Halpern was the one who told me to do this. So this is Derek's website. Love that look. So I'm scrolling down on his About page, a little bit of proof, right? Who he is, answering questions that you know you have in your head. How can I get more customers? How can I persuade someone to work with you or help me? These are questions that you're asking yourself. And then, hey, Social Triggers helps you move on up in life and work. Free updates here. He doesn't have a lead magnet, but I would. He doesn't have that, but he puts the opt-in form in here a couple of times. Click here to subscribe. Again, a little pop-up there, which is great. And that's on the About page. He taught me how to do this. In fact, if I go back to the YouTube channel, where was that at? YouTube.
To make sure
I'm going to search for Pat Flynn, Derek Halpern, About page. Sorry, it's a little slow since I'm... So here is a old video, 9 years old. The SPI blog gets reviewed, conversion and subscriber optimization with Derek. I'm not going to play this video for you, but this video was one where actually I brought Derek on to live assess my blog and tell me what I could do better. Derek is a conversion expert. One of his best tips that I implemented that I actually saw an increase immediately in subscribers was putting an opt-in form on my About page. So, super easy, small, quick win that you can add right now. And if you have at least even a little bit of traffic on your website, you can likely start to see new opt-ins come in on your About page. And guess what? They're perfect targeted subscribers. They know who you are now. They are people who are likely interested in what you have to talk about, and now they're subscribing. If you happen to have a sophisticated email system such that you can actually track how many people subscribe from your About page, then obviously do that. If you set up a form, for example, pop it into Convertkit, you'll be able to see how many people have subscribed to that specific form. And then over time, you might be able to extrapolate those kinds of subscribers versus just other subscribers coming in elsewhere. And you're likely going to find that those ones are more engaged. Now, obviously, engagement with your email list is really important. What happens after people subscribe? Well, guess what? That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So Wednesday, we start a half hour earlier, just FYI, because I have to get to a mastermind call. So 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and this is the link to remember, patflynn.com/the-income-stream. And we're going to be talking about what to do after people subscribe, like how to make a great first impression, how to train our new email subscriber to want to continually open our emails. So chat, let me know if that's an exciting topic for you. We're going all in on email this week. In fact, we're so going all in on email that on Thursday, I have a special webinar. If you go to this link right here, patflynn.com/webinar, you can sign up for a free training that I'm going to be doing where I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with a lot of this stuff on Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific. So an hour after the income stream ends on Thursday. So this would be the link to go and sign up, completely free to sign up. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper for about an hour and a half into email specifically and talk about more of these strategies, passive and active. So yeah, that's that. All right, just checking the chat. Very cool. This is sort of a themed week, if you will, right? We're starting and progressing. Yesterday was how to create lead magnets. Today is like, okay, well, where do we push these lead magnets out? How do we get people to subscribe so that they can get these lead magnets? And then tomorrow, okay, after people subscribe, what do we do? What do we send? How do we message? How often is too often? Those kinds of things. Good. Okay, I thought I had seen the webinar. Awesome. And if you're on my email list, you likely saw a sign up for that as well. You can just one click into that. Okay, so we talked about the end of your blog post, podcast, and YouTube videos. Next, oh, and if you happen to be doing a podcast or especially a video, like use that opportunity to show people the insides of the lead magnet. I mean, you have video, use that to your advantage. Hey, here's what the podcast cheat sheet looks like, right? Remember the cheat sheet? that we talked about yesterday. Don't laugh, for those of you who remember that joke. The cheat sheet, podcast cheat sheet, Pat Flynn. Right? So I do a couple things here on this landing page. Again, a landing page for the cheat sheet. I show people the cheat sheet. I have essentially some social proof about this cheat sheet, and I talk about it in a video. I should show people perhaps one page of this cheat sheet as well, so that people can go, oh, I want that. Like there's one page of several within this guide or checklist to help you start a podcast, and I don't do that here, and that could be a really easy thing to do. What time for the webinar? 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And again, that webinar is going to be right here, patflynn.com/webinar for the email marketing stuff. So we talked about the end of blog posts and podcasts and YouTube videos. We talked about the about page. Here is a strategy that we should all be using to finalize our passive strategies tactics. Use the lead magnet to promote itself. Let me say that one more time. Use the lead magnet to promote itself. So how do we do this? So let's say, for example, and this is what I did with eBooks the Smart Way, my very first lead magnet. It's too long. It's back in the day, things that were longer were better, right? Like, oh, I have 45 hours of video in my course. Great. Now it's like too much. Same thing with ebooks. Ebooks and lead magnets and such should be much smaller, easier to digest now. Back in the day, longer was better. I had a 30-page ebook called eBooks the Smart Way, which taught people how to write an outline and even market an ebook. And that was about 30 pages. And within that ebook, in the very end, I said, if you enjoyed any part of this ebook, if it's helped you in any way, here are some resources that you can use to share this with your friends and help them too. Number one, here is a special link that you can share. So I say, I think I'm trying to remember what I said exactly. It was like, do me a favor and please share this link here. That way I can, and here's why I say that versus just share this guide with somebody else. Now that's not terrible. If they shared the guide with somebody else just without me having collect their email, people would still get to know me and see the value and probably come to the website and, get involved in the brand anyway. But using the people who have subscribed to your list to help you grow your list is a great thing. And within your lead magnets, especially if it provides a lot of value, let people know what special, easy to remember, easy to follow link they should be sharing with their friends to help them find this as well. So I think it was like ebooksthesmartway.com, in fact, is what the link was, right? So have some messaging inside the lead magnet, or let's say the lead magnet is a video, for example, and the video, at the end of the video, like special access to this video, right, that they got is the lead magnet. At the end of the video, just go, by the way, if you want to share this video, it would be really great if you shared this page instead. That way, I can keep in constant contact with your friends too and help them in the same way that I'm going to help you. Do you see how I position that? Because if you just go, oh yeah, send them to this landing page so I can build my email list too, that's not going to work out. But offering a reason, don't just give them the guide specifically, because I want to be there to guide them through their efforts, just like I'm guiding you. So if you could please send them to ebooksthesmartway.com. Little side tip there. That was a domain name that I bought on GoDaddy for, I think, 99 cents. If you look up 99 cents GoDaddy, you might be able to find, not a free, but a domain name that you can get for the first year for just 99 cents. I remember doing that with that one. And that way it's just a really easy redirect to the page, the landing page, or the page on my website where I mention that thing and people can subscribe. But I always position it as, if you're going to share this, awesome, please do. But can you share this link instead? That way I can help directly the people there too. And that way they're not sharing just the guide and I have no idea sort of where people are sharing these things. Maurice, Pat, you cannot believe how valuable this info is for me at the moment. Talk about the right place at the right time. Thank you. So if you happen to have a lead magnet out there already, and it's a PDF file of sorts, just stick a page there at the end and then have a little bit of a call to action, a little bit of an ask there. You have permission to do this. You provided value with this free thing. You can even do this, I would say, within the lead magnet itself, and then within the autoresponder sequence. Let's say, for example, they get access to some challenge or some PDF or whatever the lead magnet is. 2 weeks down the road, you have an automatic email that gets sent that says, hey, by the way, that lead magnet that you got, I hope it was helpful for you. If you'd like to share it with your friends, here's the link I would love for you to share. And that would be the link to the landing page, not a direct thing to the guide, if that makes sense. Cool. Thanks for the gift from Friday. Picked up something I wanted for a while, a cooking thermometer. I have all your books on Audible. Thanks, Peter. That's awesome. Cool. So hopefully this is making sense. Having the lead magnet promote itself. Yes, people can share it, and that's still valuable to you, but you want that email address. And positioning it as you are going to continue to help the people that they refer to makes them feel a little bit more comfortable because, yes, you're sending them to a page where you're collecting an email address. Cool. All right. So those are passive strategies we can use. We're about halfway through the call here, which is perfect time to transition into our next phase, which we're going to be talking about, which is active promotional strategies. Active promotional strategies, things that feel a little bit more campaign-like. They're going to take a little bit more time or effort in order to have it work, but these are things that can oftentimes gain a lot more subscribers. Sweet. Makes perfect sense. Perfect. Awesome tips. I have to go now. See you next live stream. No worries, Maurice. So glad for this. I've been looking at my website and freebies with fresh eyes lately and have to shake my head. How often do we do that, Elaine? We see what we've done and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. It's okay. You did something. That's step one, which is great. Now you have the opportunity to iterate, to improve upon what you've done. And that's something that a lot of people can't say. There may be even people here who have yet to take action and start building their email list or start putting up a website or anything. And hopefully they'll get inspired to see from people like you and others who have already taken action to finally take action. And then you can iterate and again from there improve too. Cool. All right, let's keep going. Active strategies, campaign-like strategies to start growing this email list and to show people your lead magnets and to get people in front of you. I'm going to start with one that may not be accessible for some people, but it is for some others, and it's something that we could work toward, and that's ads, right? This is where you can spend a little bit of money to send targeted traffic to a landing page or a blog post or what have you, a video, for example. In most cases, people are likely thinking about ads in a way to spend money to drive traffic toward a landing page. But if you happen to have a blog post that, for example, is performing really well, that can often seem a lot less aggressive, and it's much easier to push people towards something where it's not something they have to sign up for right away. But hopefully the blog post, for example, does the job of getting people to subscribe. Some of my students are, in fact, using this opportunity during the downtime and pandemic to send traffic to blog posts that are actually performing really well for them, whether that's helping them build their email list and or has affiliate offers within them in order to get that money back. Now, ads are interesting because I recommend spending money on ads if and only if you have a mechanism to track, engage whether or not you're going to be able to get that money back, right? And for those of us who are just getting started, if simply we're building our email list and we don't yet have a product to promote, it can become a quote unquote waste of money, or at least a waste of trackable money. And what I mean by that is if you're just building an email list, well then there's nothing to track whether or not this is actually giving you a positive ROI. Now, positive ROI could mean more email subscribers, which is great. But if you're not doing anything with those email subscribers, which is why we need to talk about tomorrow, when you come on here, a half hour earlier, 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, we're going to be talking about what to do once people subscribe. So that's really important. So make sure you come in tomorrow so that you don't miss that. But all that being said, we really need to talk about that, right? But ads are best when you know that you can spend $10 and you get 15 back. Great. Let's spend $100 to get 150 back. Awesome. Let's spend $1,000 to get 1,500 back and have a $500 increase. Heck, let's spend $1 million and make $500,000. Now, things start to get interesting when you get to that level and scale. And in fact, once you're at that scale, you can even optimize even more because you just have that much more data coming in. But I once heard that ads, essentially a vending machine where you put in a dime, you get it out a quarter. And that's the sort of style or the sort of feeling that you want with ads. But if you're not quite there, it might not be ready for you. If you know that you're taking people through an email funnel or a sequence. Karma, thank you so much for the super chat and the sticker, in fact, the heart. I appreciate you. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for the support. Also, I have to reply to your DM. I did see it, by the way, so I have to reply to that in just a minute. Hey, Jillian, great to see you here. Thank you. So, like I said, ads can work, but they are best if you have a way to track and know whether or not that money is going to be able to come back. So you have a program or some affiliate marketing program or something that ties money on the other side to the money that you spent up front. Now, you can still experiment as long as you have a budget for it and you're able to use this money to test, then it still might be worth it even if there is no specific trackable ROI on the other side. If you just want to see if these lead magnets are working and you're building an email list and you want to just use this opportunity to then maybe stay connected to an audience or find that audience for the first time or survey that audience after they subscribe to your email list, then that could still be worth it. That's still worth it to me in many occasions. If that's the case, then I wouldn't spend more than $10 a day for like a week to experiment. So $70, less than $100 to just experiment to see where are we bringing people to? Our lead magnets or a landing page or a blog post with that lead magnet embedded in it. That's really popular and relevant. That's what I would do. And if you have yet to experience and try Facebook ads, for example, I'd recommend checking out Monica Louie from flourishwithmonica.com. She breaks things down very easily. In fact, easier than most people who are experts in this topic. Rick Mulready is another great example of somebody who teaches really well. So Monica Louie from flourishwithmonica.com as well as rickmulready.com could be great experiences too, to learn how to start with ads. So that's where, number one, we can create a campaign-like system to start building our email list and to get people to find these lead magnets, if that makes sense. Jillian, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Anything Cameras says, question, will you ever do an online course week here on the income stream? I think that's a great idea. I really like that idea. An online course week, perhaps. We'll see if we can make that happen. Destiny Show, Pat, have you experimented with promoted posts on Twitter for podcast promotion? I have not experimented with that specific platform yet. No, I have not. Question, should you spend money to learn like course and extra stuff to get results faster or learn independent from YouTube? I think that if you don't have money to invest and you aren't serious about or fully committing to this, then YouTube can be a great place to experiment and start. However, there is something to be said, Asma, with investing in your future into a mentor or a course and somebody that you really, really believe in. And if you're committed to it, you can get that back and then some in a much more consolidated space with specifically step-by-step instructions without the distractions of YouTube, within a container where there's just a different feeling and aura when it comes to putting into action these things that you're learning, as well as perhaps access to the instructor as well. Like within my courses, I give access to my students in 2-hour office hours every single week, and that's really great. Cool. Hit the thumbs up button, everyone. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Okay, second active campaign-like strategy that we can do, and this works really, really well, is guest appearances on other shows. Now, back in the day, the strategy was guest blogging that worked really well. Well, Seth Godin recently said that podcasting is the new blogging. And Pat Flynn says that if that's the case, well, then guest podcasting is the new guest blogging. Guest podcasting is the new guest blogging. And doing a little bit of work up front, again, this is why this takes a little bit more effort, to get a spot on a podcast where your target audience exists, to simultaneously get endorsed by the host, to have a container to teach and to talk and to build a relationship with an audience that already exists. And then at the end, to let people know, yo, if you'd like to get more information on this, or if you'd like to get free access to my guide, or whatever it is that you're talking about, whatever it is your lead magnet is, if it's relevant to them, go to this landing page, right? Hey, Archer, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you. So the first active one was ads, Facebook ads, Instagram, different platforms. LinkedIn ads have been working really well for a lot of people. The second one is a guest appearance on another show. So thank you for asking that, Michelle, so I can fill in those gaps for you in case I breezed over that too quickly. Guest appearances on other shows. If you happen to be a guest on another person's podcast, first of all, start with the relationships you already have, then try to get an introduction if possible. Number 3, see how you might be able to provide value to that host first before the ask. Number 4, know exactly what your superpower is that would perfectly complement that person's archive. And number 5, always know to do whatever you can to help serve that person and their audience. It's not about you. A byproduct of you serving that audience is you get a guest appearance and are able to then share some stuff. Inside of that appearance, have specifically, and this is the best way to do this, yes, you can just generically let people know, oh, go to ebooksthesmartway.com and get that book, or email thesmartway.com to get that guide. And it's just sort of a generic landing page for all people. The best practice is, however, if you happen to be, I see some bruh from Don there. I love that. Great question, Grandma Goody. I have to check in with him. I haven't seen him in a while. Thank you for letting me know. Rapid Combat. Ern, where is he? Is he in the Slack channel or what? I have to check up on him. If we can all reach out to Ern and just say that we're thinking of him, we love him. Let's reach out to him if you have access to him. Okay. If you happen to be a guest on another person's show, create a special landing page, because this is a big deal, right? Jillian, welcome to Team Gold. Appreciate you. It's so weird to see my face emojis there like that, like with Peasant Uprising. It's so funny. Develop a special landing page that you can mention that continues the conversation. And this happens all the time with people who come on my show and when I go on other people's shows. They say, hey, Pat, thank you so much for bringing me on the podcast. I created a special landing page just for you and your audience. And if you go to, name of website here /Pat or name of website here /SPI, that's where people go, right? And they spent this time developing a relationship. There are some resources on that page where we've talked about certain things. Maybe they are there as well, or a lead magnet that they want to provide, which I'm totally okay helping to promote as a host. And it's cool because when you go to those pages, oftentimes you'll see things like, welcome Smart Passive Income listeners, or hey, thanks for listening to the podcast with me and Pat. And there might be a picture of me on there as well, which is totally fine, or a picture of me and the guest, which is even better because it shows a connection there. The idea being you're continuing that conversation within the context of having somebody listen to my show, but now it's them taking over the conversation, right? And leading them into a lead magnet or some sort of offering there too. Free resources, free guides, things like that. So having a special landing page can feel like a lot of work, but it's absolutely worth the time and effort. If you're going to spend the time and effort to attract somebody who has a podcast to want to have you on their show, to schedule and be on their show and deliver a lot of value, it makes sense to close the loop and put the cherry on top to create a special landing page that's just for their listeners and their listeners alone. The best practice is, if you're going to do this quite often, is to create a template such that you can just easily, copy that landing page and make a new one for somebody else, the next person whose podcast you're on, and the next person whose podcast you're on after that, and the next podcast you're on after that. So again, mentioning the podcast name, taking their artwork, putting it there, and this becomes, yes, a little bit more active up front, but what's really cool is that person's podcast is just going to be continually listened to. And as a result, they are doing work now to build your email list. You see how that works? Now their podcast is doing the work for you too, because you've connected their podcast to a landing page that you've created and you've continued that conversation. It's essentially like you've just added a brand new traffic stream to your stuff. And the more you can do this, the more likely you're just going to have this big giant email list over time because of these little feelers that you've put out and these special landing pages that you've created just for those people and those people alone, right? This will be a game changer. I'm so excited right now, bro. I'm glad that you're stoked on this. I love to see it. You'll love to see it, everybody. You'll love to see it. Great. Boris, I'm glad you're digging that.
Bruh.
For you. Thanks to all the new members today, by the way. If you don't know what we're talking about, you can become a member of the channel and support the channel with as little as a cup of coffee per month, essentially. And all that income that comes in from the memberships go and get donated to this month, polarisproject.org. helping fight human trafficking. And next month, we're going to do another charity. And the reason why I did this is because there's been so many people offering super chats, which is a way to one-time pay and to have your comment be shown and highlighted. I wanted to give, YouTube has this ability for us to have special emojis and perks for those of you who are supportive in that way. Not required. You don't have to spend any money to be here. I'm never going to lock up the chat to just be members only in our morning income stream. I might have a chat later or another version of something later where maybe it is members only, but the income stream will always be live chat for everybody. So yeah, that's so good. Landing page for guest spots. I love it so much. I'm going to pretend it was my idea. Do it. I don't care. As long as you take action on it, that's what matters. Question from GTO says, if your website isn't presentable yet, are there good landing page programs out there? I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would make it easy. If you are, for example, building an email list on Convertkit, just use their built-in landing page creators. And they're literally just, I mean, I could create a landing page in a half a second. In fact, why don't I do this for you right now? So I'm going to go to Convertkit just to show you how easy this is, because this is something that even if you don't have a presentable website yet, you can still be a guest on other podcasts or other places, other YouTube channels. It doesn't just have to be a podcast. But you could be a guest and build your email list even before your website's ready, right? So I'm here on a sort of test account for Convertkit. I'm going to create new. I'm just in the landing pages and forms area, and I'm just going to hit landing page. And I'm going to go, okay, well, I want to create a landing page, and let's go, let's just click this one. Cedar, sure, why not? I'm going to name my landing page, test landing page for GTO. I'm just putting your name there. Your catchy headline goes here. Download my free podcast checklist today. Get the exact steps you need to start your new show and grow your following today. Grow your following with your voice. So I'm adding a little bit of the benefit, right? The benefit of starting a podcast would be to grow your show, grow your audience, grow your following. I also want to collect a name in here as well. So let's collect name, custom field. Let's make that actually first name. Register today. Don't miss your chance. I want to change that language. Enter your best email address below. Get a free ebook. Why not? Instant access. And I'm going to switch these. Let's move that up and down. And I'm going to change this background image. Let's see, how might I do that? I'm going to go to, let's see, background image. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to Unsplash. I'm going to type in microphone. And I'm going to use this one. No, let's try another one. Let's do microphone. How about, so it was what, white text? So I want something a little bit darker, right? How about maybe something like this? Cool. So anyway, I can literally just save and publish this. I'm going to do this just for fun right now. Save and publish. Share. Click to copy. And now this page is live on the internet. Is it going to load because it's probably slow because I'm streaming right now. I hear the fans on my computer. Save and publish. Landing page was successfully updated. Let's preview this, in fact. So that's what it looks like. Let's go to this landing page and see if it's loaded now. It's loading. Well, it should show up at some point. But anyway, that's what it looks like, and that's how simple it is to create. Kind of gave it a bad look there when it's, because, man, my fans are going wicked right now. So I think I have 7 tabs open and whatnot. Anyway, Tarun, welcome to Team Flynn Gold.
Bruh.
Appreciate you. You're amazing. Is this with your existing account, Pat Flynn, or a free one? That's with an existing account that's sort of a tester. I'm an advisor to the company, so I have access to a few accounts where I run a little tests here and there, and I shoot videos and stuff. And I try to break it and whatnot and help them out. So anyway, yes. Cheat sheet, says Tamara. What'd you miss, Coach Deb? You missed a lot, but hey, guess what? You get access to the replay, of course, and I'm so thankful that you're here. Anyway, I'm just showing off how ConvertKit works, and you can create a landing page even before you have a website. Essentially, you get to create your own single page on the internet that ConvertKit hosts, and they can get that up and running for you, which is really cool. So yeah, super easy. And that way, you can, even before you have a website, be a guest on another person's podcast and have that capability to get it up and running. And here it is. It finally loaded. Literally just there already. And again, I didn't fill in all the information, but you could see it here on this webpage. So yeah, it did come through. And I love that they have this integration with Unsplash as well. Sorry, I'm not trying to make this a promo for ConvertKit. I just love them so much. I'm an affiliate and an advisor for the company, just so you know. So there is a biased opinion there, but I wouldn't be any of those things if I didn't believe in the company. Advisor for Fortnite? No, not yet. Cool. So, okay. Let's go and talk about another active strategy. Tarun.
Bruh.
The bruh. Awesome. Let's talk about another and final active strategy, and that is the idea of running a challenge. We talked about this yesterday as a lead magnet, but I wanted to bring it back because this is a very, very, very worthwhile campaign that you can do to build your email list, and that is a challenge. For those of you who don't know, I have first of all, two things. I have a webinar coming up on Thursday. If you go to this link here, patflynn.com/webinar, you could join and register for that. We have more registrants than seats available now, so make sure you come in early on Thursday. It's at 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm going to be going over a large number of different tips and strategies, things that you can do instantly to get more email subscribers and things that you should be doing, best practices, etc. during that time. But that's about an hour and a half time period where we're just going to go dive way deeper into this presentation, the whole gamut, Q&A at the end. But I wanted to show you also this website. If we go to, not that, 100emails.com. Again, another example of a GoDaddy link that I got to easily bring people to this landing page here, which is a free challenge that we set up. We do this challenge live 2 to 3 times a year. And what I mean by live is we change this up to say on this date. We in fact have a countdown timer on here where this quote unquote event starts happening, right? And when this event starts happening, I then send out 1 email per day with instructions to help people go from 0 emails to 100 emails in 3 days. Whatever your challenge might be, just make sure it's a small challenge. It's achievable. It's something that people can do within a short period of time. Anywhere between 24 hours and 1 week is ideal. And you can just run it through email. This is the lead magnet that we talked about yesterday, which was an email-based challenge or email-based mini course, if you want to call it that. And so what happens is you subscribe, and if it's live every day, as soon as that moment happens, you get an email, and it says basically your instruction for the day, and then day 2 and day 3. The cool thing about these challenges is you can do some fun things after the challenge. Okay, now that you've unlocked this ability, now that you've gained the confidence, you can either join my course or now get access to ConvertKit or whatever secondary product you want to offer or next steps, right? People will join your email list by taking this challenge, right? So you're here, like, I'm in, let's do this. First name, email address, let's go. This challenge, in between when it's live, is also evergreen. So you can, in fact, take this right now, and essentially it's just now in an autoresponder sequence where today you get day 1, tomorrow you get day 2, the day after that you get day 3, and then it just is automated, right? This gets about 20 to 30 email lists per day now, nearly 1,000 per month on autopilot, because we've mentioned this in podcast episodes. We've mentioned this on our blog. We've just mentioned it on our resource page. My confirmation page says, 11 a.m. Yes, 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm sorry. 11 a.m. Pacific, not 10 a.m. Pacific for the webinar. Thank you so much for that. Sorry, this is the link right here, patflynn.com/webinar, 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern for that webinar on Thursday. Thank you so much, Living Joyful. Yes, fantastic value proposition. Thank you. Achievable, right? Something small within this amount of time, because a lot of times people know they need to do these things, but they don't have a container or any instruction. And the fact that it's only a certain number of days or hours makes it, okay, well, I can dedicate 3 days to this. Okay, let's prove it. On this page, we also have proof. With these challenges, you need to have people, because it's going to take a little bit of work, you need to have people understand that this works if you do it. So if I scroll down here, I mean, I have a video, but look what's on top of this video's thumbnail. Different people who have taken this challenge over time, just passed 100, currently 89 subs, 11 more to go, better late than never, finally got 101, started with 58, now I'm at 106, next stop 1,000, etc. And I have more testimonials down here too, and then they're in. When this is live, the only really difference is it happens on that specific date, and there's a Facebook group component to this, which creates a little bit more liveliness, and it creates a little bit more fun and excitement. People can hold each other accountable. What's cool about the live event as well is you can promote it ahead of time, and people will start to invite their friends to it too because it's free. And that way it just kind of grows virally. The first time we ran this, we had 14,000 people participate, which is incredible. Many of those people converted on day 4. Remember, this is a 3-day challenge, but day 4 is the follow-up. Hey, this is what we learned. Now here's what you can do next. Several of those people took the offer for the free trial for Convertkit after that. And many of those people then converted into paying members who now have an email list and are growing their businesses. And I now get a commission every single month from those people, which is pretty cool too. Awesome. Can't find this challenge. Where's it at? Want to sign up. Thank you. 100emails.com. 100emails.com. But this challenge has done so well for us in terms of, because it's a course essentially just delivered via email that's automatic after people subscribe, or of course, like I said, 2 or 3 times a year, we run this live and it has that Facebook group to go along with it. The Facebook group, we do let people know up front that it's temporary just for the challenge alone, and people get in there, they link up with each other. It's pretty cool. And these challenges work extremely well. In fact, in SPI Pro, which is our pro level membership within SPI, you have a challenge coming up tomorrow if you're in there. So pay attention to that. It's our testimonial challenge, which would be really cool. Tarun says, what is the best way to promote Lead Magnet via landing page without running ads? So it would be to mention it if you're a guest on other people's stuff. It would be a link on social media. It would be a mention inside of your blog post, just a link to the landing page. Just say, hey, by the way, click here if you want to get access to this. Just nonchalant, mention it in your podcast or in a YouTube video. Link to it in the description of your YouTube video. It should be also linked to on your resource page. Those kinds of things. Orly says, I'm almost done reading every word of Superfans. Love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, I did change the camera angle. What's cool about this is I can go vlog mode a little bit if we need to get a little bit more intimate. All right, Deb, I see you. I love you. Appreciate you being here, always. I want to join SPI Pro so bad. I feel like I'm missing out. No worries. It's always going to be there. We will be accepting new applicants sort of on an ongoing basis, but we have our 500 founding members there, which is pretty cool. Another great live class. Peace, people. Thanks, Tundalea. Yes, we are 1 minute left. And so, hey, Team Flynn, hopefully this information about passive strategies and active, more campaign-like strategies to grow your email list has been helpful for you. If it was helpful for you, 2 things that you can do for me if you're live in the chat with me right now or watching the replay. Hook me up with a thumbs up and leave a comment. Let me know what the best thing that you learned is. The number one thing out of all the things here that you're going to take away and actually do. There's a lot of stuff, so I want you to hold yourself accountable and pledge that you're going to do one of these things. What is that one thing? And then finally, make sure that this Thursday, you come in 11 a.m. East, 11 a.m. Pacific to this link right here, patflynn.com/webinar. You need to register ahead of time for that. That's a formal webinar where I'll be going over a fine-tuned presentation about email marketing. Tomorrow here on the income stream, which is this link right here, patflynn.com/the income stream, we're going to talk about what to do. The first moments after a person subscribes to your list, what do you do? What do they see? What messages should you send? It's one thing to get people to find your lead magnets, right? It's another thing to know what to send people after they subscribe. So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. We start a half hour earlier, 7:30 a.m. Pacific. So keep that in mind. Put that in your calendar. 7:30 a.m. Wednesdays, I start a half hour earlier to accommodate for a meeting I have an hour later. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Welcome to all the members. Appreciate you. And if you haven't yet considered signing up, please sign up. It's supportive of the charities that we support every single month, supportive of the show here. You just have to click that join button and you can subscribe for as little as 1 coffee per month. And I appreciate you for that. So anyway, take care. Thanks so much. Appreciate you. And as always, Team Flynn for the win. Peace out, y'all.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Yo, thank you so much. You inspire me. You complete me. You get me to wake up every morning. I'm here for you. Continue to leave your ideas and feedback. I'm always wanting to improve. I want this to be the best internet show in the world about business and entrepreneurship. And you can help spread the word. Spread the word if you can to your friends and family. Free to check out on the Income Stream every morning. PatFlynn.com/the Income Stream. Peace out, y'all. Love.
Bruh.